Welcome back, everybody. Your morning cup of coffee might be a bit more interesting than you realize. This is really good. I've been roasting for years, and today I'm gonna roast a batch of Little Brown Dog coffee. And while we're at it, we're gonna talk about how this little green coffee bean comes to be and how it turns into the delicious brown bean we're gonna grind and roast for our morning brew. All right, gang, before we even start roasting, we start with a green coffee bean. And by the time it gets to my hand, it has already been on quite a journey, and that's what makes coffee so interesting. So coffee is grown all over the world, and the soil, the sunlight, the rainfall, the altitude, all has an effect on how the coffee tastes. Much like grapes for wine, all these environmental factors change the flavor of the actual fruit. And that brings us to an elephant in the room that is gonna hurt some feelings, maybe. A lot of us like consistency, and brands love consistency. Every time you go to Starbucks, they want it to taste like a Starbucks cup of coffee, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, you name it. They're trying to create a flavor that you will recognize. So to make a monumental amount of coffee taste the same, you have to get coffee from all over the world and sort of erase all of the stuff that makes it unique. And the only way to really do it is to over roast it, almost to the point of it being burned, or beyond that. My beans! So we're gonna aim to roast this enough to get a bit of a traditional coffee flavor while preserving the unique characteristics of where it was grown, this season's crop, because it really is the region's uniqueness that makes it special. I'm not saying one's better than another, but they're all different, and they're very, very fun to try. Today we're using my Mill City Roasters 1 kilogram machine. We're gonna get into how that thing works a little bit later, but we gotta get it warmed up. So this thing is actually a professional drum roaster. Inside is a rotating drum. This motor is driving the drum that is getting heated from the bottom. Up here is a fan that is pulling air through the entire machine, so you have a mixture of contact heat and convection heat, beans constantly in motion to keep them from burning or scorching or baking. What we're looking for is a roast. So the drum is constantly rotating, keeping the beans moving, but it also absorbs the heat and releases it into the roasting chamber, which is then drawn out through the exhaust through this fan, so the beans are exposed to both surface heat and convection heat. The exhaust also draws excess heat, the chaff, and any smoke that's created during the process out of the machine. It's pretty awesome. This process is pretty similar to preheating your oven. What we want is for the drum to absorb a bunch of heat so that when we add the coffee, we don't see a major temperature drop, that there's a lot of energy in the drum itself ready to transfer to the beans so that they roast in sort of like a linear-ish way, instead of cooling the drum and then reheating the drum and then heating the beans and creating all kinds of chaos. All right, gang, this particular coffee we're about to roast today is from Kenya. Made it all the way from Africa, grown around Mount Kenya at around 1,600 meters. Is that better or worse than anything else? No, it's all about what you like, but it does taste very different than something grown, let's just say, across the world in Colombia. That's the fun of it. Like, that's it. It's not like, this isn't better or worse. This is like, how exciting is it that it's just different? All right, so the roasting process. Beans are ready to go into the hopper. We're gonna drop the coffee into 400. We're gonna start our timer, and we can monitor our process from our bean temperature and how it's related to the amount of time it's been in the machine. So we're gonna go for a 10 to 12 minute roast, and we're gonna dump the coffee at around 415 to 420 degrees, which is probably about a full medium roast. The beans are now spinning around in there. We're gonna continue to watch our temperature go down until the beans have absorbed enough heat, everything equalizes, and then we'll see it all collectively go back up. All coffee roasting goes through 3 basic phases, no matter how you do it or what machine you're on. Right now we are in the drying phase, and that's gonna turn the green bean into a yellow bean, and that's because the moisture is leaving the bean. It is getting heated right out of it. At the end of the drying phase, there's 0 green, and it'll smell kind of like fresh cut hay. Almost no matter where the coffee is from in the world, at that point, they all kind of smell very similar. So this is equaled out to 260 degrees, and now we are increasing. We're 2 minutes into our roast, I can control the rate that the coffee increases in temperature by controlling how much heat I apply through this gas valve and how much airflow we have going through by controlling the speed of that fan. Ultimately, I'm trying to get the beans to increase in temperature about 20 degrees a minute right now. At 325, the beans will be dry, at which point they will enter a new phase, the Maillard phase. That's where they're turning brown. They're no longer drying out, they're actually starting to roast. That's when the coffee starts to smell a little bit more like where it came from, a little bit more individual to each different region. And I want to get from 325 to 370, which is the first crack when the moisture really is out of the coffee and it goes through a major chemical change and it releases some gas from inside the bean. We're going to want to slow that down a little bit. That's where a good chunk of the flavor is made. And then we want to get to around 415 in about 3 to 4 minutes after that. That last phase is the development phase. That's where the coffee takes on its real coffee flavors. And if you screw it up, it's where it gets burned to a crisp. So this is the trier. It allows us to pull the beans out and take a look. I'm not sure if you can tell, we got a lot of brown, but also some green hue in there. So we are not quite dry yet. Through my experience on this machine, the way that this reads, 325 is almost always on the money. Now we are right at 325, and I'm not seeing any green. We are looking pretty darn good. We gotta go 40 degrees before we start getting our crack. We're a little behind in our roast, but hey, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. If you listen, you'll start to hear the cracking and popping. There we go. It's just like popcorn, where like you'll hear a couple kernels go, and then all of a sudden it really takes off. That's exactly where we are right now. So right now what's happening is the heat energy in the beans is actually breaking them apart a little bit, cracking them open and releasing CO2, I think. I should confirm that. We are at 8 minutes. We're coming right up on 420 degrees. I don't want to over roast it, so we're going to turn it loose, get the spinner going. And all over the world, coffee is going through a process, something similar to this, where you have to get from room temperature to 325 degrees in relatively short order. But then you want to slow it down and get from 325, your dry coffee, to your first crack, which is a 40-degree difference. And then you're going to go from that to another 30-degree or so difference, and you want to slow that down as well. However, if you try to slow it down too much, you end up kind of just baking the coffee and it stalls out. It stops increasing in temperature and just gets stagnant, which is kind of the skill and the art of roasting coffee well. It's like learning how to use the machine is the skill, and the art is figuring out how long each phase should take to make the coffee taste the best. And the people that roast mountains of one kind of coffee really do perfect that through a lot of trial and error, a lot of experimentation. But in my opinion, if I do it like this, I get a good coffee flavored coffee that still tastes like where it came from, which is the exciting part, you know? This world is a very interesting place. Agriculture is a very interesting thing. The land, the earth, the soil, it's all really, really neat. And we, as humans, living right now, can experience a great variety of that if we choose to seek it out. I do, because I think it's fun. And if this is interesting to you, I'm sure there's a bunch of coffee shops in your area where you can buy different kinds of coffee from different places that they roast that will taste different. And I guarantee you will find something that you like. So we're gonna let this cool off, we're gonna let it rest, and it's gonna turn into a delicious cup of coffee. And that's how the Little Brown Dog coffee is made. Get out there, try something new. You might be pleasantly surprised. Thanks for watching, everybody.